A new global struggle is quietly taking shape. Most people are focused on wars, oil markets, and military conflicts making headlines around the world. But behind the scenes, another battle is unfolding, one that could shape the future of technology, industry, and global power for decades to come. At the center of this competition are materials known as rare earth elements. Most people have heard the term, but few understand their importance. These minerals are essential for smartphones, computers, electric vehicles, advanced medical equipment, satellites, radar systems, and modern weapons. Without them, much of the technology that powers the modern world simply would not exist. The challenge is not finding these minerals. The real challenge is processing them. Extracting and refining rare earths requires specialized knowledge, advanced infrastructure, and decades of technical experience. And no country has mastered that process more effectively than China. Over the last several decades, China invested heavily in mining, refining, industrial development, and research. While much of the world focused on globalization and lower manufacturing costs, China quietly built control over one of the most strategic supply chains on Earth. Today, a large portion of the world's rare earth processing takes place inside China. That reality has become a growing concern in Washington. For much of the 20th century, the United States was the world's industrial powerhouse. Its factories produced everything from automobiles to advanced military equipment. But globalization changed the landscape. As corporations searched for lower production costs, factories moved overseas. Much of that production ended up in Asia, particularly in China. What initially seemed like an economic advantage gradually created a strategic vulnerability. While American manufacturing declined in key sectors, China expanded its industrial base, trained engineers, built infrastructure, invested in research, and developed one of the most sophisticated manufacturing ecosystems in the world. Today, the rivalry between the United States and China extends far beyond trade. It includes technology, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, defense systems, energy infrastructure, and increasingly, critical minerals. Rare earths have become a strategic asset because they sit at the foundation of many industries that will define the future. This is why governments are paying close attention to supply chains. The lessons of recent years have been clear. Global disruptions exposed how dependent modern economies have become on complex international networks. Nations are now rethinking old assumptions about efficiency and focusing more on resilience, security, and strategic independence. And that brings us to Brazil. Beneath Brazilian soil lies one of the largest rare earth reserves in the world. In an era where access to critical resources is becoming increasingly important, that gives Brazil a unique position on the global stage. For investors, these reserves represent opportunity. For major powers, they represent strategic value. But for Brazil, they represent a choice. History has shown that natural resources alone do not guarantee prosperity. Many nations have exported raw materials for decades, while others captured the higher value stages of production: refining, manufacturing, research, technology, and innovation. The greatest economic rewards rarely come from extraction alone. They come from transforming resources into products, industries, and technological capabilities. That is the challenge facing Brazil today. Should these resources simply be exported to global markets? Or could they become part of a broader strategy for industrial development and technological growth? The answer may influence the country's future for generations, because rare earths are not just another commodity. They are a key ingredient in the industries of the future. Electric vehicles, renewable energy, advanced computing, artificial intelligence, space technologies, and next-generation defense systems. As demand for these technologies grows, competition for critical resources will likely intensify. The world is entering a new era of geopolitical competition, an era where supply chains are becoming strategic assets, where technology is becoming a source of national power, and where access to critical materials may influence the balance of global influence. In the end, the story of rare earths is not really about mining. It is about the future of industry, the future of technology, and the future of economic power. History teaches an important lesson. The nations that prosper are not always those with the most resources. They are often the ones that build the strongest industries, develop the most advanced technologies, and create the greatest value from what they possess.